I'm surprised you didn't make it this year, bro.
I am quality.
Morning, y'all. Morning, y'all. Jesus, Jesus. That telly's turned itself on again, Matt, I see.
Yeah, not watching that, bro.
Look at you boys, luxury living up here in the penthouse.
Yeah, hey, balcony and everything. Oh.
Balcony? Oh, now, high living. High living, boys, high living up here. It's not like this down in the cheap seats downstairs. On the road again.
On the road again.
We are going to the Columbia Country Club to play today.
Correct. Half an hour from our base hotel so far.
Half an hour from base.
Yeah. HQ.
Half an hour from base back there, bro.
Yeah.
Question for everyone then. Is the Masters really a major?
Oh.
How dare you?
That's the question. That's today's question. Post comment down below. Selected field. It's one of the smallest field, if not the smallest field of all the majors.
Where am I going? Come on.
You're just going to go back on yourself, Ray. Go left. Because you want to go back down that rat. Right, back to reality. So post comments down below. What do you think? Is it really a mega? We're going to discuss a mega major.
I can go, can't I?
It's one of those big questions today.
Good.
Tiger's got a nice celebration, hasn't he, Matt?
Tiger, yeah, very good. Yeah.
So out in Columbia last night, Ray, myself and Coach had an interesting discussion, didn't we?
We did, yeah, a couple good discussions.
What was the other one? Is lemonade as sweet as it used to be? Was it that one?
Yeah.
The Masters.
Yep.
It's a major.
Officially, yep.
And Rory is a massive Tiger Woods fan, so he has a pretty good theory, and it was well thought about the fact that Tiger has good records outside of just his major count when you start comparing him to that kind of GOAT question with Jack Nicklaus, which I totally understand and agree with parts of it, indeed. But then it led us on to saying, well, if everything is about major counts for best players in the world, you still there, Coach?
I should be there, shouldn't I? Best players in the world.
Then the Masters maybe is questionable on its major status. Possibly. Thoughts?
I agree.
Yeah, it's a weird one because it's obviously a special tournament. There's no escaping that. But all the others, so the 2 Opens and the PGA, on some level are based on qualification criteria.
Yeah.
So you got to earn your way in. Whereas if you go back to the history of the Masters, it's an invitational, isn't it? Technically. And now you have to qualify, but
yeah.
And the field's massively different in numbers. On.
Do you know how many are playing around? What's the entry around? I did a bit of research this
80?
morning. Yeah, it's 90. It's around 90 in the Masters compared to like a USPGA or an Open.
120, 130.
Yeah, 137, 140.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Few points were made about the 90 field, which is not relevant to this discussion, but it's still an interesting point, is that pace of play is vastly improved at the Masters in theory due to the fact that they can handle that level of players a bit more.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really relate to what we're saying. So you've got an event where you've only got 90 players playing. There's a lot of good players who aren't qualified this year, say for instance.
Yep.
But then that's still going to go down as a major count. So how does that really stand? Now, I did a bit of research on who qualifies for other events. I mean, top 50 in the world is a standard.
Yeah.
And kind of Andy Sullivan told us that, didn't he, when we said to him, you just got to be in that top 50 for many things.
Yeah.
The Open just seemed a little bit more open to a few more European Tour exemptions.
Right.
I can't remember the exacts now, I should have made better notes, but also I think it was more, so you couldn't, if you won a major, or it might be the Open, but you're over 60, your exemption runs out at the Open. Because there's the other thing that you get at the Masters, you get, like we saw, no disrespect, but you get Larry Mize is playing.
Ian Woosnam.
He's not winning. Ian Woosnam, Mike Weir, like they're not competing. Not that Mike Weir is over 60 or anything like that. Sandy Lyle. So you've got a 90 field and lots of them really are past champions, which is fun and all, I get it, but we're classing that as a major.
Isn't it? But yeah, it's not the best players at the time, is it?
Major or not a major, there's more points to thrash out, but thoughts as we stand now? Obviously we know it is, but go on, call it, Ray, major or not a major?
Not a major.
Bloody Nora. Coach?
I don't want to get in trouble. It's a major.
For me, it's definitely a major, but I'm with Ray as well. I'm right between those two. I think they all are. I just forced them to make it like a point there. It's a tricky one. Let's discuss it more. What is it about the Masters, Ray? What is it?
What, following on from what we were talking about earlier?
Yeah, so obviously it's the start of the year kind of stuff is inspirational for people, isn't it? Gets everyone going, so that's another reason why we get seduced into that major feel, maybe?
Possibly.
And obviously it's kind of the prettiest venue by far that is played. Well, not, because obviously there's different kinds of pretty, but like we get seduced by the way it looks.
The perfection.
So there's a little bit of me that thinks that we get seduced by the sun, the perfection, the dreaminess of the venue, which then makes us not ask maybe some of the bigger questions about is it a major or not. Obviously we know it's a major, but as in, you know, if you compare it say to like the Players, which does get invites, it's like top X amount get in, I think, of the Players. It's top 3 or top 5 or something, isn't it? Get in maybe. I'll have to recheck that. You can post comments down below. But that's a much more open event. That has European players and American players. It's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, I think people are seduced a bit.
Yeah. I was going to clarify my point of saying it's not a major earlier, and this kind of ties into that conversation we were having last night.
Yeah.
When discussing Tiger or Jack or Tiger kind of stuff, and I was saying maybe not too much onus is put on majors, but that other events which have world-class fields, so like top 50, which we were talking about.
Yeah.
Maybe not enough like stuff is credited to those, so like winning X amount of those, you kind of just, that's throwaway for a lot of people.
Yeah, which I think is a good point.
So yeah, when I say the Masters isn't a major, that's not devaluing it in my book. I think it's just as, if not more important than lots of other events, but there are other events as well, like you say, like the Players' Championship, World Golf Championships, etc., which aren't given enough credit. And
then what about the idea then that there's no major in Asia? Australia don't get a major. These are questions that don't get asked that much, and when they are, they're kind of swept away, and we all just enjoy the Masters, and not just to pinpoint the Masters, but I mean the Open. I mean the US have 3 majors.
Yeah.
So you know they're in other sports that they're like tennis. It's Europe, it's the UK, Australia, and America.
There's the French.
US Open, Europe for the French.
Oh, sorry.
And then Wimbledon, and then the Aussie Open.
Yeah.
It's a good spread, it just doesn't unfortunately hit Asia. But yeah, I don't know. Post comments down below in those ideas. Are we just seduced by the fantasticness of the showcase of what it is? Last point as well, there's lots of great things that the Masters does as well, which we've not really talked about, which we'll talk about a bit more once one of us is in that water. Road again.
On the road. I've already done that, haven't I?
Yeah, you can do it again. You've got quite
on the road again.
So back to Augusta, dropping Ray off for his media commitments, and then me and Coach Snoozy back there, off to Alabama, mate.
Just a 6-hour drive.
Just a 6-hour drive, and I think we've got a 6:30 AM tea time tomorrow.
So we're gonna have like 4 hours sleep.
Standard.
Who organised that?
Not sure. Not sure really. Couldn't point the camera in any directions really there. So the Masters, it is a major obviously.
Yeah.
Would you want to win it?
100%.
It would be your first or second choice?
First.
First or second?
I have more of an affinity with the Masters because I think that's like the first time I got hooked on golf was watching, I don't like to mention him around you, Mark, but Tiger win in '97.
Yeah.
So I probably would choose the Masters too, because that's probably what I was dreaming of as a kid. And you know, I'll work really hard and I'll get off 6 or 5 and I'll qualify one day and I'll bag a green. I'll look good in a green jacket, I reckon, so that's another reason.
Yeah,
so earlier in the video you said it wasn't the major and now it's the one you want to win, and that's kind of what it does.
Well, that's what I'm saying to you as well, with that I don't like the distinction of the majors so much.
But I think the really interesting point is that is what the Masters does. It is beautiful, plus it's got some history which is questionable.
Yeah.
Plus it's amazing and traditional. It plays with everyone's emotions if they decide or choose to dig below the azaleas a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Nice words,
thanks, bro. Obviously you've got drive, chip and putt, which is great things and initiatives. Another initiatives that they're strong on is their digital. YouTube this year, brilliant to see. Did you know that they were one of the first majors, if not the first, to really openly invite the media? They understood the power of having the world report about its product, if you like, its event. So it had a media centre years ago, and I think it might have actually been before others. If not, I think the other interesting fact is the date that it was on was to coincide with the media coming back from a side of a country, from the side of the country. Yeah, so it was scheduled so they would come back through and report. So they understood, well, they understood if you have closed doors, how do you get your message out?
Yeah.
So they understood that if they are going to lock and be closed, that they're going to need the media's assistance, and they used it, which was clever.
Be interesting to see if the other majors do the YouTube thing now as well.
I think they'll struggle not to. I mean, the view counts I've been seeing on some of their videos is just astronomical.
Yeah.
And it's great, like I was saying to you, if Fanula at home, we haven't got a telly at home, if she wanted to watch golf, we can't, so I would tell her that she can go and watch YouTube if she wants to keep up, which is fantastically empowering for her if she chooses to go and watch it. I mean, I just love the fact that it's got that accessibility. So I think it does lots of great things at the same time as well, which is why it is a major.
It's done quite, I want people to correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was quite pioneering back in the day, in the fact that I think it was the first golf tournament to use the under or over scoring system.
Okay.
So like it's got history of thinking outside the box a little bit, and maybe YouTube's a good example of that. Yeah,
absolutely. It doesn't seem scared to be uber traditionalist, which is good in some ways and has its negativity, but then at the same time be quite diverse, certainly with digital platforms that we see at the minute, and then obviously traditional media back in the day by encouraging them. So yeah, it's a tricky one. It's a great event.
It's a conundrum.
It's a shame that there are some great players who can't play or miss it, but I guess there's always going to be that. There's going to have to be a cut-off at some point.
Yeah, you can't have everyone, can you? Otherwise,
that's just got to play better, haven't they?
There you go, guys.
Amen, bruh. They just got to play better, haven't they?
That's it.
You know.
I'll tell them if they want to hear it.
I'm surprised you didn't make it this year, bruh.
I am quality.
What on earth is this?
Well,
what is that?
My legs are hurting because they're so upright. I just need them to
upright.
Nobody frees upright in your legs.
They're too upright, right?
Look at that. Like, that's not the correct angle when you're sat down.
That is wrong.
Help me out here.
There we go. Post comments down below. Let me know what you think. The Masters obviously is a major and it's a special one, but it also has some questions as well that I think are interesting in golf. Post comments down below as always. This is actually a different day we're finishing this one, aren't we, Matt?
A long day.
Last night's travel was 6 hours through time zones. We were both falling asleep. There was no filming happening. We played all day today and there hasn't been much time. So I finished this video, which was yesterday's video, today, and you'll probably come back here to finish today's video at some point as well. It's all very confusing. See you soon.